Hey, wrestling fans, this is Joshua Yoder from Hometown Sports and the Joshua Yoder blog. Thank you again for joining us here tonight in beautiful Lewistown Community Center here in downtown Lewistown. I'm here with, I guess I can honestly say, one half of the new HWF Tag Team Champions, Matt TRK Stokes of the Sons of Mifflin County. Matt, thank you for coming here again today, and congratulations on winning the championship.
Thank you, man. That means a lot coming from you, Josh. We've been friends for a really long time. This is our third interview in about 3 weeks.
Yes.
We've gotten to sit down at the Willow Workbench and talk about some things. Josh has a blog, and he's doing a lot of other creative things, and we're just kind of shooting some ideas around. I think he has big things on the horizon, and he was talking about, us having the opportunity to do this tag team opportunity, winning the tag titles. We did that. And we were talking before this interview about some of the bright ideas this kid has and what he's going to be able to do, and I'm really happy for him, and I'm going to be there for you too, brother. But thank you for everything, man. I greatly appreciate it.
I appreciate it, and the same to you. No, man, I can't believe it's, like he said, it's been a long time, freshman year.
Yeah, freshman year, high school.
Freshman year, and talk about special moments. Saturday was it was a magical moment. It was, for those of you that don't know, it was a very hectic moment as well. Just the hype alone, your match with Neverfall, which was an incredible tag match. You and Mosh and Zach and John, you can't take away from Neverfall their run that they had and the match they had. Just one of the amazing tag team, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
And just the match itself. Do you personally inside, do you believe it lived up to the hype?
I do. I really do. But I also think that like you said about the videos and everything, that was a really big thing. I think it helped with the marketing, it helped with pushing the show. Before I say anything about that whole feeling about what that was like and everything, like John Roden and Zach Green are two guys, in my humble opinion, that could have made it in World Wrestling Entertainment. They could have made it in All Elite Wrestling and all these other companies. I know that we do we do the entertainment side of things, and we try to keep the heat going into the show, and the show's over with now, so I feel a little bit more comfortable talking about this. But we had the opportunity to share some photos on Facebook there, and you could see how special that was of a moment of about just getting to go backstage and seeing Zach Rain and understanding that for 5 years straight, this man and his tag partner were never beaten, Josh. They were never beaten. And besides what they've done in the tag team division, Zach Rain had a very successful singles career.
Yes.
And he also had a really, really, like I said, they had a really good tag team deal, and they also had a really, really good singles run. I think John Roden, he had some things that popped up, in life, and it kind of, derailed him a little bit. But I was in this room right here when I heard him give one of the best speeches I've heard in HWF, and he was talking about tag team wrestling and showing up and making sure that, this is the place to be. We had a tag team pull out to wrestle those guys for the tag team titles. They pulled out an event. I think it was Summerfest last year, if I'm not mistaken, or it might have been, I can't remember what show it was, but they pulled, Ass Kicking Saturday 2023, that's when it was. So he sat in here after holding the championships and saying, hey, show up, and me and Mosh were sitting in here behind the camera. Nobody's seen us, and I was like, man, did you feel that? He's like, I felt that. I think it's time that we step up. Like, that for real happened. Like, it's not something we're trying to push to make it sound like something for a story. We really did look at each other that night. We were under this understanding that Neverfall was literally the greatest tag team in HWF history. And just because we have these championships, and I know I said it in other interviews, this does mean that I'm at the top of the game for tag team division, right? That does. But that doesn't mean that we're the greatest ever. In my opinion, Zach Rain and John Roden are two of the greatest professional wrestlers I've ever shared the ring with.
And before we talk more about the match, let's talk about a little bit of Neverfall. Could you... When we've talked about wrestling, we've been involved in wrestling our whole lives, and we love the sport. Mm-hmm. And what many of you may not realize is that when they started this, they had no idea they were going to have such a run like they've had. So 5 years
Yeah.
Like never been pinned, submitted,
Never.
none of that.
Yeah.
Like that's hard to do, and people may feel like because it's pro wrestling, but they don't realize like that's still difficult to do. The traveling,
Yes.
the miles they put in.
Well, not only that, all these promotions that they did it into, you got to owe them a little bit of the tip to the proverbial cat there too, because how many promotions signed on to have these guys be undefeated? Like, they sold that to how many places? My wife, this is a little insider, my wife told Zach Rain, I was standing right there, this is well over a year ago, we will not be the company that you lose at. You're not losing that streak here. We're not going to do that to you. And we completely wanted nothing to do that with that. If you could see over the last year, we were going our way, they were going their way. They really were. But yes, we were building up to getting a tag team title opportunity. But then like Zach comes to us and says, hey, I don't think there's really anybody else out there that's hitting like you guys. He said that our gear looked really good, that Rodney and myself are good in the ring together with the tag team continuity and coming up with creative new spots and stuff like that. So, like, to know that this guy thought that highly of me and Mosh, man, this almost getting me emotional. To think he thought that much of me and Mosh to do something like that, man, like, you didn't have to do that. Neither of those guys had to do that. But they single-handedly gave me one of the most amazing, and I mean the most amazing experiences of my life. They were involved with it, Rodney, myself, and Danny, Trista, everybody that was involved with that. Don, behind the camera, everybody, you wrote the story. There's so many people contributed to that moment. And to me, wrestling's a lot about the matches, but to me, it's all about the moments, and that was one of the best moments I've ever experienced in wrestling.
Yeah, and you mentioned Danny, Pitchick.
Yes.
For those that missed the show itself was kind of, it seemed like it was a very even tag match. Nobody was, and then John decided to, pull out Pitchick.
She was not allowed to be at ringside.
Yeah, she was not allowed to be at ringside, and for those of you that weren't there to see it, John crawled, and unbeknownst to a lot of people, John kind of somehow slipped his way into the back and grabbed Pitchick and had her over his shoulders.
Yeah.
While you guys were trying to finish off Zach.
Yeah.
And fortunately she was able to get out of the way and get him into the post, and you guys were able to seal the deal. Did that for probably 90% of the match? Maybe 99.9% of the match, everything was clean.
Yeah.
Did that catch you guys off guard? Were you guys surprised by that?
100%. 100%. It kind of, I was expecting something like that. If you go back, there was an interview that we had with them at the Salvation Army, and we talked. I said, I can see you grabbing Pitchick and carrying her out to the ring, as a last-ditch effort. That happened. That really happened, and that's crazy to understand that. And I mean, the show before, Ass Kicking Saturday Night, to see Pitchick go through the table, that was the thing that really sent Mosh and myself over the edge. We were like, you know what? We felt how those fans felt. I think Rodney looked at Danny not only as a girlfriend that night, he looked at her as, like, this is my protege. You know what I mean? He's helping in every which way to help train her as well as I am. So it's like, you see something happen that you love that person. You don't want to see something like that happen to them.
Of course, absolutely.
But whenever you see it happen, it's like, it's not just happening to that person you love, it's happening to the person you respect a lot too. And Danny is on my level, bro. Danny has been on a show with Mark Mest, on a show that Jason Havoc was at, on a show that Cremator was at. She's been in the ring with Rob Noxious. You know what I mean? She's done so much stuff that a lot of people don't know about. And being in the game for only about a year and only having about 10 matches, it's hard to get your respect there, but she has the respect where it's needed, which, like I said, those names, I didn't mean to just drop names, but that's important to guys like you, you and I.
Absolutely.
Mark Mest was the guy that really made us understand things, but Jason Havoc, I credit all of my training 110% to 50-50 Jason and Rob Noxious, because Jason explained it all to me, and I'm sure he did the same thing for you.
No, absolutely. And another guy mentioned for me, at least personally for me, in my experiences, a guy, Jeff, and also a guy by the name of Tom Zarb, who wrestled as Danny.
Zarb too. Yeah.
Zarb was a very big part. Shout out to Zarb.
Heck yeah.
God bless him. He's a good dude.
Yep.
They were, like you said, and to be fair though, you got to give a little bit of credit to you and Rodney because you guys are big on respect. So it was probably, I don't want to say it's easier, but I guess for lack of a better term, it was easier for her to get that respect because she sees how you guys are acting. So she's like, oh, I better not like cause any problems for these guys, you know?
Yeah, and I think also, you know, knowing somebody is always really, you know, knowing somebody in certain places, it's nice to have, you know what I mean? And I think it came natural to Danny because she had those people at her, you know, disposal. She could go to those people and she could say, well, if I don't have Matt, which that's never going to happen, if I don't have Matt, I have these other people, and these people are directly responsible for Matt's Oak. So to me, like, I see Danny doing all the work. She's improving. She was at Training Wednesday this past week, killing it. Right after doing her thing with Shaw, and that's another person, man. Like, it was great seeing Ashlyn Shaw out there. The new gear, man. Yes. Did you see that?
I did.
Those new 8x10s, girl. She's gonna be selling them things.
Well, and for the record, talk about Anstey. She was ready to go.
Yes, she was.
For those that aren't backstage, to say she was pumped up is an understatement.
Yeah.
She was very, very excited to be back out there, and it's good to see, especially after such a injury that. For many of those don't know, she could have been out for a lot longer than she was.
She could have been out for 9 months.
Yeah,
you know. And that's a long time. That's starting over, essentially. That's starting over. And I told her months ago, I was like, you know, you're gonna have to learn a lot of this stuff over again because she really wasn't to the horizon on really being able to capitalize on all those things that she learned. She was just kind of getting over the hump. But then you know how it is, man.
Yeah.
You're away from the ring a week and it tears you up.
It does.
That's why I try to keep myself calloused. At least 2 days a week, I'm gonna bump. Yeah. That's my goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and safe bumps.
Yes.
Safe bumps.
Yes.
Don't go overboard with it.
Most certainly.
And speaking of bumps, the happy ending. Finally, when you guys had a moment, for those of you that again were not there, a very special moment happened. Everybody, you came into the ring. Edward James came to the ring. Basically, Sons of Mifflin County, James Ford, and many other people that have been supportive of you in your life all came to the ring to celebrate something special, and it was special. But again, for those that weren't aware, there was another very special moment. Pit Chick and Artie Mosh are now engaged. So,
congratulations. Right.
So yes, the look on her face says it all. If you guys see the photos and if there's a video coming up soon,
yes,
her face says it all. You were talking to her, talking about how I love you and this and that. Yep. Can you do me one more favor? Turns around. There's Mosh on one knee, ring in her hand, and I honestly thought there was going to be an ocean flying in the ring of tears because she was that excited.
Yeah, She's been waiting for a minute for him to do it. You know what I mean? I travel a lot with Danny, so like I hear it. You know what I mean? And to think Mosh was kind of a little bit nervous that she was going to say no. We were gonna play a joke on him, but she didn't want him to get all butthurt. But I will tell you this right now, that was an amazing experience. Rodney came to me, I think, about, I don't know, what was it, Don? About 5 or 6 months ago, and said something about, hey, you know, would it take away from the moment if I did this? And I was like, brother, no way. That's incredible. It's gonna help.
I was gonna say, if anything's gonna add,
those moments are hard to make up.
Yeah, no, it's real. Absolutely.
Yes,
it's real.
It's hard to make up. And like that thing with winning the titles from Zach and John, like a lot of people can say what they want about pro wrestling, but we really beat them though, Josh. Like we really pinned Zach Rain's shoulders to the mat, and we became tag team champions. And there was a lot of talk, man. There was so much talk, and there probably always will be about certain things. But the entire experience that I had that night, the ocean of people, you said about that emotion. Man, I had so many people tell me, I'm so proud of you. The look of the production was so different this time, the build-up. And it felt good.
Yes.
It felt good to hear that. I'll tell you this. I lost the entire match before it started. I got in the ring. Mike Raddick, he runs Voltage Wrestling. I respect Mike so much. Such a great announcer. And you said about the photos that are out, Don, Curb, Sam, they all did great. But, Mike, I get in the ring. Mike goes, I just want you to know I'm really proud of you, and this looks like one of the cleanest shows in PA. And I turn around, I'm like, wow, thanks, Mike. I just forgot everything that I'm, everything. I think if somebody would ask me, hey, is Rodney going to get engaged tonight? I probably would have been like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I was so baffled by you know how it is, Josh. It's not very often every day that you get that type of positive feedback, man.
Well, and you talk about people knocking pro wrestling and all that stuff. There's probably people that would, that's even watching this interview or watching the videos of the show and all that stuff. Or they're like, wow, that looked and felt so real, because it was.
It was real.
It was real. That's something you can't replicate that.
No, you can't fabricate something like that. And I'm so proud of everybody, man. Like, I'm so proud of like my entire team. When I came back from Gorilla and we were all done with the match and everything, I just like looked at everybody and they're all doing their thing. They're all working hard, and I was like, we've worked really hard to be able to work hard. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because there was a couple years ago that it was like you probably wouldn't have told too many people that you talked to me because you might get heat. You know what I mean? So I was away from the business. So to be able to know that I was able to go overcome all of that, someone very, very important to me, I won't drop his name, but somebody very important to me that's been there since the beginning. I shared it with you at the beginning of this interview before it started. He told me that he was very proud of me. He got emotional, and that just blew me away. I was like, this is not fake. There's nothing fake about this. This guy really believes in me now. And to know that, he stuck with me on that ride, man. Like, there was a couple bumps to where it was like, I think Matt's off this ride now. I think he's completely off. And I was. That. I was checked out of the business. But to sit here with this, and you, and your brother, and Don, and my brother that is doing something amazing today.
Yes.
Giving me the opportunity to sit in here and to talk about the memories that I made inside this building, dude. It's amazing. I'm so thankful that I'm in this position right now.
Well, and we'll get to about your brother here in a moment, folks. But I also wanted to discuss a few other things too. There's obviously a video out on YouTube on the HWF home Facebook page. Never fall, understandably so. A little frustrated about the loss. Very tough loss, and out of respect, the Titan James Ford was like, "Hey guys, it's all good. Just get back on the horse." Showing respect.
Yeah.
And I don't think John really took it that way. And is there any comments on that?
I was actually backstage, like, right as that happened. I can remember I could hear some voices, and I looked in, seeing John Roden and James Ford in here, and I was like, you know what? I just got done wrestling that guy. I don't want nothing to do with that guy because he broke my ribs. I just keep them away from me. But I heard that go down, and then, what cameras didn't see was what happened backstage. That's whenever John Roden's in the locker room getting his stuff ready to rock and roll, get out of here, understandably, like you said, very upset about losing. But man, like, there's nothing to be upset about. You know what I mean? Like, they wrestled a great match, but they wrestled a great run, a great 5 years. And like, there's nothing to be upsetting about that. They just, it happened. And to me, I seen that reaction backstage there, to where they almost got into a fight back there. If we wouldn't have had that big security guy, JP or whatever his name is, he came in with somebody, I forget. They had like a full security team here. And if it wouldn't have been for that security team that killed it and did an amazing job, and I can't wait to have them back.
Absolutely.
If it wouldn't have been for those guys, then, we would have had another ass-kicking Saturday with a crazy explosion in the back here of guys just fighting. You know what I mean? Like, dude, you're getting paid to get in the ring. You know what I mean? You're getting paid to get in the ring. You're not getting paid to beat somebody up backstage, right? You know what I mean? There's no production on it. But no, I mean, there's tension high there. I think Trista is in the deal of, like, James has done such a great job as heavyweight champion. She'll give him whatever challenger that he wants, because every challenger that James Ford has had, it's not been easy.
No.
Let's just say a couple of names. Sledge Gibson. Sledge Gibson's incredible. Former Extreme Champion.
Amazing.
You got how many other people?
Zach.
Yep. There's so many
Yourself.
people. Yep, myself. There's so many people. He knocked me off for the heavyweight championship and literally broke me. Like Bane did with Batman in the movie. He broke me, took my belt. But they've all been really, really big matches. This last one, with it being with Tripp, man. Like,
incredible match.
You were saying about you really enjoyed it.
It was one of the
best ones.
It was one of the best ones I've seen here in this show, and really during his reign. And I remember if you go to Hometown Sports, you can see my one-on-one interview with James Ford. I can see why he's confident in his run.
Yeah.
Because he has lived up to the expectations. To say
every bit.
Yeah, to say that he's on the we're on the HWF is on the shoulder of a giant. That's an understatement.
Yeah.
James has done really well, and he's been highly professional. I
know John Roden wants to go after the world title. He was talking about it while he was tag champions.
Yes, he was. Yes.
I don't know, man. I don't know what to expect, but could you imagine John Roden, the Juggernaut, being the Honorary Wrestling Federation heavyweight champion?
I'm picturing that match in my mind, and I'm seeing two guys that's going to come out of the curtain and then come back into the curtain with a different look to their faces and bodies.
Did John Roden lose Saturday? He didn't lose.
Technically, no, he did not. Zach was the one that got pinned.
Zach got pinned. That makes John even that much more dangerous. He wasn't even responsible for losing these things.
Well, let me ask you this. Does that make him more dangerous inside or outside the ring? Because he's already shown a couple times he's gone a little...
I think jumping on this table, acting the way that he did at Ass Kicking Saturday, putting a woman through a table, I don't see an end to it. I see him doing which I respect to a point. When I was chasing after the heavyweight championship, I had a long list of people to go through, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
I had to beat this person, this person, and this person.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he's going to have to do the same thing. He's going to have to work up too. But to me, I will say this. To be a guy that was in the ring with John Roden Saturday, he don't got to prove nothing to nobody, in my opinion. In my opinion, he gets the match with James Ford just to see what happens. If you don't remember, the match has happened here before.
Mm.
It was a long time ago. They wanted more time. Wasn't able to get it. But, man, just to me, I think it would be like a Brock Lesnar situation, man. You know what I mean? Because he's so impressive. He's so good. He said he's the best wrestler in the locker room. I feel that. I do. I feel like he's one of the greatest besides James Ford and Zach.
I have a feeling it'd be a kind of
and
match.
Robbie Page, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to Robbie Page as well. And honestly, when I think of those two, I'm thinking Kabashi and Kawada probably, especially with the way those guys, they're not afraid to throw a punch.
No, they're not afraid to throw a punch. You're talking to someone that knows that. Curb got some really good shots of the punches and stuff, and I'm telling you what, that guy, that rabbit, kicked me so hard so many times. It's funny, though. You do these matches with these guys, you make money with them, you make memories, and then you kind of become friendly with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You kind of become, like, respect-driven. And Zach, I respect so much. Like, I look to him, man. He's helped me ever since I wrestled him in January of 23. That was I needed that moment. You know what I mean? I needed to brush elbows with someone like Zach Rain.
Oh, and he's a tremendous talent, as you said earlier. And let's do a little quick thing about Zach. Obviously, it seems like a lot of people are may be potentially a Roden versus Ford here, especially after the backstage incident.
Mm-hmm.
What's the future hold for Zach?
I heard, now you're hearing it from me first, I heard that Zach and John are both scheduled for October 26th to be here. I wouldn't be surprised if they'd come at us for a rematch clause, but there's something that's telling me that that's not the way it's going to be. I think John Roden's eyes are on something more important now. I think he sees James. I think he wants that, but I don't know, man. Maybe Zach Rain wants to be champion too, and that's a whole entire other conversation. What happens whenever John Roden and Zach Rain are in the ring with each other and they're not tag teaming? Josh, what's going to happen?
That's going to be an interesting situation.
I hope I'm not booked on that night.
you might have to be there for security reasons.
Yeah,
I'll
be there for security. I ain't wrestling.
Little inside the wrestling joke, if you know what I mean. If you know what I'm talking about. But let's talk about we're here in the beautiful, like I said, up for beautiful Lewistown Community Center. There's a special event going on called Operation Freedom, hosted by your brother, Chuck Stokes, and amongst many other people here in churches, basically to help people get closer to Christ and try to help better their lives spiritually. And you're currently having basically a 3-day event. First Friday and Saturday evenings starting at 5 p.m. here. And there's also going to be a special service on Sunday at 10 a.m. And for a special service to be here to support your brother and try to help people come closer to God and just try to help them try to become the best version of them. What does that mean to you to be here and help doing stuff like this?
This is actually this is the first time I've talked about anything like this publicly, and you know what, and I don't do that very often for the simple fact that there's a lot of people that have different opinions about things.
Absolutely.
And I'm of the belief that sometimes my opinions are the best kept to myself, but this is one of those things that I don't mind sharing. I tell a lot of people this. I have a relationship with Jesus Christ. I do. I have a relationship with God, and it's a personal relationship. There's a lot of times you see me on Facebook, thank God for this. Thank God. And I pray before every match, you know that.
Yes.
And you know what I mean? I have that special relationship with God. I talk to him multiple times. My brother was on a different track in life, man, at one point. I went through some things. He went through some things. He did some not so great things, and it definitely affected our relationship. As you know, Chuck and myself were the Silks brothers,
yes.
You know what I mean? And we did backyard wrestling together. He trained with me when we started pro wrestling, and he's always just been, it's crazy. He's older than me, but, he's always kind of looked up to me, always asked me, what do I think about this? And that means a lot to me. To see what he's doing here today means a lot to me also, because it's a personal thing, man.
Yes.
Like I said, it's a personal thing, and I'm going to get to hear him talk about some of those things that he went through. And if there's anybody in the world that knows what Chuck went through and some of the things that he was doing, it's me,
Yes.
And we've had kind of a strange relationship the last few years. There are some things that happened, no reason to get into any of that, but we both forgive each other for things I've done wrong and he's done wrong. But
no one's perfect, brother.
No one's perfect. But we're sitting in this building that God made sure that I got this building 4 years ago for this reason, in my opinion, and my belief is that this is here because I was able to create something to hand off to my brother. He called me, hey, what if we do this thing down there? Hey man, do your thing. Go for it. Do as much as you can. He brings in all of these people that are well respected in the religion and stuff. And not only that, I don't even know how to say things probably. But no, they're really good people. They care, and like you said, they want to bring people to God, man. And to me, that's incredible. I love that it's happening here of all places. Yes. I was worried initially because you know how ignorant people can be sometimes.
Unfortunately, yes.
And,
yes.
When it comes to that opinion type thing, I know that a lot of people have their opinions, and everybody is entitled to them. You know what I mean? We're all free, but to me, I look at it as we're all free under the man upstairs.
Amen to that. And like I said, it's Operation Freedom right here at the Lewistown Community Center starting today at 5 p.m. There will be another service tomorrow on Saturday at 5 p.m. also, and then there'll be a special on Sunday at 10 a.m. service for them as well. And speaking of the Lewistown Community Center, and I know this was also a big hot topic because I've been hearing it ever since the show. And unfortunately, it involves your wife, Trista. She came out during the show. Again, for those who were not at the show, she came out to made an announcement that 2024 may be the last time HWF will be able to run here. But she's also made a slide comment about she believes that there's a certain executive.
Who's she talking about, Josh? Who do you think she's talking about?
I have a pretty good idea who she's talking about, but unfortunately there is no evidence.
Right.
So,
do you think Havoc would do something like that?
I wasn't really going to mention his name.
He was embarrassed, man. He was embarrassed. Maybe he did.
It's a strong possibility. And for those of you who don't know it, many people think the last time we saw him, I believe it was last year. I believe we last saw
Jason Havoc. Yep.
And there was were you surprised that she even brought that up? Or
I was actually. I found out for real. This is 100% a true story. I came home from somewhere. I remember she told me, and it was the way she told me. I was not happy about it at all. She was just like, "Yeah, so we found out we're probably not going to be able to run down there anymore." And I was just like, "What?" I was like, "Can you repeat that again to me? This is our home. What do you mean we're not?" And there are some things that was told to us that potentially we would not be able to run here anymore, and that Josh, there is a special feeling in this building when HWF runs here.
And especially from the beginning, because this, you guys,
Yes.
I believe, is 2021.
Yes.
You guys have been in this building in 2021,
Yes.
and to see the growth. So, to be honest, it kind of caught a lot of people off guard. And,
It did.
And believe me when I tell you, there's a lot of people even still to this day are like kind of talking about it. And I was just like, I don't want to come into speculations. I'm just simply trying to do an interview. All that stuff. But I did hear rumors.
Man, what if, and we're looking at other places. I mean, obviously we're looking at other places, and you're inside the borough of Lewistown, so it makes things harder. There's a whole list of things that we have to legally do to run a wrestling show.
Yes.
And if we don't do those things, then, that's the end of that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that could be affected by that.
A lot.
But no, I love this building. I think that I discovered my love for wrestling again in this building. You know what I mean? And I credit all of that to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Man. I do.
Amen to that. And as talking about growth and all that stuff, this past show, this was, you mentioned production is like probably one of the biggest crowds that you guys had.
Yeah. Just
productions, the videos, the people to like, get autographs and all this stuff, people to interact with people. It's definitely you guys. I can't imagine how frustrating it'd be. You guys were able to like feel like everything's going up, and then all of a sudden, not only could you guys lose the voting, but you guys could potentially lose the voting over something going on behind the scenes that you guys may not be fully aware of.
Yeah, I mean, that really is the thing. I mean, even if it's a thing where Havoc's not involved, even if it's a thing not like that, I mean, I've always felt like the good thing about this, Josh, is you know me, you've been a personal friend of mine for a really long time, and you know that my back's been against that wall since day one, and there's never been a single day that has ever been easy for me in this business.
No.
So I think it's one more thing that we have to do. I think it's another test from God. I do. I think there's another test. I think that we're going to have to move through it and see where that takes us. Maybe it's something that needs to happen, but there's also a strong possibility that, and we're talking that the year 2025, nothing will be ran in this building. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. It's not just like we're being kicked out. And I don't want that to be.
Let's clarify.
I don't want that to be a thing. There's somebody behind the scenes here really is doing something to, I don't know if it's a budget thing. I don't know. The one thing that I do know is some amazing moments have happened in this building, and at least we know for sure we get one more night. And we are going to do the best that we can. Like I said to Trista, I'm heavily involved, like you brought up the production, and I was so proud of that. We did a lot of work Friday night, Saturday morning. We were working up until fans coming in on that set, on the ring, on everything. And being able to run that production, being able to see it before my match, Mike Raddick from Voltage Wrestling saved the day. Comes in there, helps me and Gorilla, gets that all squared away, and we're able to come out with this amazing entrance. We're able to do all of that. But I told Trista, I want the next show to feel like, you remember when you guys were kids and you'd go to like a sleepover or something, you'd watch horror movies, and like you enjoyed the way it like made you a little bit scared, Like that's what I want to do. I want to make it feel like the 90s and and horror. Like I'm going to take cobwebs. We want it all through the kitchen, the bathrooms, you name it. We want this building to look like a mausoleum or something. You know what I mean? To be able to play it. We're going to go far into the details with the entrance. I'm already in contact with Pete from the Willow Workbench. With thanks again, Pete.
Yes, shout out to Pete.
He's going to be doing some big things to help with production. Where I think we're going to do like tombstones or something out front engraved. Like maybe some wrestlers' names, and we'll do the whole thing. I think we're going to be working again. What was the barn? Was it the Barnyard? Is that what it was called? We also did business with the Barnyard last 2 years at the Halloween time, so I'm looking forward to doing that again. I'm actually interested in trying to do a show in a cornyard. I think that'd be cool, man. It would be different.
Oh, it would be.
I mean, shoot it from a drone. It would look really cool. But no, we're working on doing some physical things for October, like some physical things, like maybe even bringing in somebody to scare somebody, like Trista. She hates clowns. I'm just saying, but now that's out there in the ether.
There's a long history of that.
Yeah, there is a long history of it, but no, October's gonna be a good month. I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see what Trista has for us to do defending the titles. I want to address the HWF crowd and just let them know how thankful I am, because they gave me the greatest ovation, one of the greatest ovations I've ever had. Besides debuting at the Green Gables with Rob and Dylan and them guys, besides that night, I really can't recall another moment, besides maybe winning the heavyweight title, that really felt like solidification. But winning these really made me feel that, man. It made me feel like, you know what, a job well done. And I've been searching for that first shoot, for real, man. Yeah. I've been searching for validation, and I feel like I finally got that. You know what I mean? And we worked hard on it, man. You were part of that. Yeah. You were really part of that. You helped push the event, and I'm sure, we're going to try to do something with some podcasts with you guys or whatever and see what we can do there, make this thing a little bit more regular, get our wrestling opinions out there, No,
absolutely. And I believe it's October 26th is you guys' next show.
It's my birthday.
Hey.
Yeah.
A little special note on that one. But like I said, we'll keep you updated more on this building and potential of what's going on behind the scenes of the HWF as soon as I'll let you know on that, more on that.
Yep.
But again, October 26th will be the next HWF show, which I'm sure we'll probably meet again and talk about that in the future. Mm-hmm. But also, as of right now, Operation Freedom right here in the Lewistown Community Center starting today at 5 p.m., tomorrow at 5 p.m., and then at 10 a.m. Sunday. Again, thank you so much, Matt, for coming over here.
Thank you again, Josh.
For this interview. My name is Joshua Yoder. You can check out my work at Hometown Sports and the Joshua Yoder blog. And again, thank you, and you all have a good day.
Yeah, and big shout out to Mama Don's also, because she's awesome.